Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I'm reviewing Detroit Become Human for the PS4, played via backwards compatibility on the PS5. I'm going to go over the same 5 categories I always do: graphics, performance, gameplay/story, replayability, fun factor, give each category a score from 1 to 10, average it up, and then talk about the game a little bit. So this is like an action story-based game, heavy on the story, quick time event, investigation game. It's very hard to classify. It's very similar to Heavy Rain in a few aspects. It's made by the same developers. Super interesting game with an incredible story, but we'll get into it. Like I said, this is a PS4 game, and I'm going to start with the graphics. So it still looks good by today's standards. This came out a few years back. I'm a little late to this party. That's partly why I did like the breaking news. I finally beat this game. Um, but my game club, I'm in a game club on Facebook. Game club's like a book club for video games. Super nerdy. I love it. Um, but they had chosen this game a while back. But anyway, back to graphics. Graphics look phenomenal, especially for a PS4 game. I give them a 10. Even by today's standards, like I said, they look really, really good. You can see the PS4 controller on the screen. This is definitely made for PS4. And I did experience a few performance issues, I think, because of backwards compatibility. But I'll get to that. So graphics are a 10. The character models look incredible. The face, I guess the way they animated the face, it looks super realistic. The voice acting is good. Um, there's one character that's also in the new Dexter Last Blood. I don't know the actor's name, but man, he looks incredible. His voice is, I mean, it's his voice. It's just spot on. It looks so good. Everything looks good. The environments, the characters, everything. The graphics are just out of this world, especially for a PS4 game that's a few years old. So graphics are a 10. Performance, I ended up giving an 8. It started off really strong, and about half the game I didn't have issues, but towards the end of the game, I started to get a little slowdown. In fact, one time I thought it was going to freeze. It didn't, but it slowed down to like a snail's pace. Um, so I think it's partly due, I don't know if it's RAM allocation or what they're doing with this, but maybe it's a hiccup just because it's backwards compatibility, but nothing game breaking. It was, 5 or 6 times where it slowed down significantly. One time, almost like I said, to a freeze. But anyway, it worked fine. No game breaking bugs, nothing like that. So I'm going to give it an 8. Your experience may vary. If you play it on a PS4, you may have had no issues at all, and I'm just assuming it's because it's backwards compatibility. Although I haven't had much problems or any problems with backwards compatibility, really, just a handful. But anyway, performance an 8, plays perfectly, no real issues. And you can see, like, from this footage, it's a lot of decisions you make in this game. Well, we'll go ahead and talk about gameplay/story. So, the gameplay is, you come to an area. It's all decisions. Like, there's different paths that you can take. I don't know how much the decisions really affect the story. I think there may be 2 or 3 outcomes per situation. It's different scenes you play. You'll start a new scene, and you'll see a timeline afterwards of the different paths you could have taken. It's like a tree, and you could have done this, this, this. You missed this, or you made this decision. And like I said, there may be 2 outcomes per scenario. So there's a lot of decisions in this game that can change everybody's game to a different. Like you can see right here, you may do something where a character can die, where you save certain characters, you lose certain characters. You can have. I'm assuming there's terrible endings and great endings, or you may not be happy with your ending. Um, so that's kind of the loop. You come to a situation, you make your decision, you may find an item that helps you or talk to a character that unlocks a new branch that you could go down. So it's really neat, and you don't have a lot of time. There's a timer on a lot of these decisions where you have to make on the spot calculations, decisions. And there's a lot of quick time events too. So if you miss those, like your character can mess up, you may miss something. So I don't know how many endings or different ways this game can go, but there's a lot of them, I think. So that's the gameplay. Story is incredible. Uh, I went real deviant, and you'll know what I mean if you've played the game. There won't be spoilers. A lot of this gameplay is really early on. I took mostly screenshots after a certain point just because I didn't want to give away anything. Uh, but some of the decisions you have to make are tough, man. And I mean, I went all full psychopath this playthrough. So, I had a dream last night. It's a little off topic, but maybe that influenced my decisions. I played like a solid 3 or 4 hours, the last 3 or 4 hours in one sitting. I just got done with it, and I just went full one-sided psychopath in this game. I had to make some tough decisions, but that's what this game is all about. A bunch of tough decisions. Um, that affect the story. I combine gameplay and story, and I give this category a 10. To me, that was uh, an easy score to give because the writers, the decisions they put on your plate are insane. I love the characters. Man, just a very good game with some believable decisions that you have to make, and some that you did not expect to have to make. Great, great story, great gameplay. 10. Replayability. I never give this category a high score. In this one, I gave higher than usual, but I initially wrote 7, but I ended up writing 6. And the reason I wrote 6 is I don't know how much these decisions actually matter. Like I said, there's a ton of decisions to make, but each scenario, some may only have one or two outcomes. Like there's some scenarios where you look and I'm like, I don't know how much you'll see. I'll show a screenshot of one of the branches, and if you really focus in on those trees, although there are a lot of decisions, I don't know how much they really affect the story because there's only so many different ways they can make this go. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's so many different decisions. But like I said, I don't know how much the end will vary or could vary. There may only be 2 or 3 like actual endings, but maybe different ways to get there. So I put replayability as a 6. Um, this would be a game I would replay definitely, but I would probably personally get 2 full playthroughs out. And this is a pretty long game. This took me 13, 14 hours to beat. So it's a respectably long game. And if you get 2 playthroughs, that's a lot. And you could, depending on how my second playthrough goes, and it'll be a year or two before I replay this, maybe longer, but depending on how that goes, I could get 3 playthroughs. So it's a respectable replayability score of a 6. Here you'll see a lot of screenshots I took. Like I said, okay, here's one of the, see all those decisions right there led to one outcome. So that's why I docked it once, but that's just one scenario early on. There's plenty more that have way more branches to the tree. So overall, replayability is respectable, and just look at the graphics. They are stunning, especially for a game that came out this long ago. A lot of these prompts on the screen, these prompts, I guess I'll just say. But you have to, hit 2 or 3 buttons. They'll fly at you. These quick time events. That's the word I was looking for. You may have to hold this while pressing square, L1, R1, L2. It is a lot going on, and you will miss some, even if you're really good at that. But anyway, the last category I do is fun factor. Oh, and this was interesting. They had a survey pop up, and it showed questions. You can pause it and look, and what I put and what the world put, which was really interesting. But fun factor, as you can probably tell by my enthusiasm, I had a good time. That's the famous actor I was talking about. Um, I had a good time with this game, and I highly recommend this game. This developer is awesome. Heavy Rain was one of my favorite PS3 games, and I loved it. And just the graphics back then on the PS3, they made a PS4 version of Heavy Rain. If you haven't played that or this, I can recommend them both. But I had a great time. Fun factor, I'm going to give a 9. Just a solid game all the way through. So just to review, graphics a 10, performance an 8, gameplay slash story a 10, replayability a 6, fun factor a 9. That averages out to an 8.6 out of 10. So excellent game, highly recommended. Uh, this is such a well written story. It could be a movie. Maybe not the way I played it, because if people watched me play this game, they're like, "What is wrong with this guy?" But I had a lot of fun with this game. Uh, really, no complaints other than the slowdown here and there. And then some parts you'll walk really slow, like can't sprint in certain parts where you think you should be able to. So those are just nitpicks, but overall, I really loved the game. If you This is included with one of the PlayStation Plus, the highest tier, or maybe the medium tier. I don't know. Look into it, but it's included. That's the way I played it. I also own it physically. I bought like the trilogy from this developer. Quantum something is the developer, but excellent game. Um, Go play it if you haven't, especially if it's included with the membership, or if it's $20 brand new. It's a no brainer from me. So all I got. SirVern out.